Have you
Yeah.
ever been in love?
I want to say yes and I want to say no.
Because listen,
Hmm.
if you have, just tell us how it feels. Because I've been waiting for long and I'm getting tired.
Nah, not to brag, but I've probably faced the most rejections here, and you guys are aware, quite aware.
I think I find I get strength from my loneliness. I don't know if that's a weird thing, but I think
That's that's a crazy thing to say, though.
it's so funny because I feel like this is such a balanced level or a balanced discussion because we have David, who is kind of, I don't know, I kind of categorize you as a sanguine, but I think you know yourself better than I do. And I would say I am more of a choleric phlegmatic. And Covan, to be honest, I don't know what Covan is. he would have to he would have to explain himself. However, today we'll be talking extensively on our personality archetypes and how our personality archetypes, affect our daily lives. I think one of the most dysfunctional friends group I've ever seen is probably my friend group because we pride ourselves on one aspect of our life and that aspect alone, our ability, to succeed academically, but our social life is pretty much almost dead, non-existent, and none of us are in love or probably has never been in love, which is kind of crazy. And
What do you mean?
I'm beginning to
Speak
think
for yourself.
no, I'm beginning to think we're gay. so, so as you know, this is the We We Podcast, and I'm here with Equer David, Covan, and myself, Adewale Rex. Yes. So, I told you guys to do a test, and basically, I think one of the things I want to talk about first is the aspect of like social anxiety. Like, I don't know if it's just a me thing. And I thought growing up, over time, I've been thinking that maybe as I grew up, I would be able to overcome the social anxiety I feel daily,
Mm.
especially in a social setting. But I don't seem to have overcome it. Like, I just want to know, like, what are your experiences when it comes to that aspect?
Okay, I think I would like to take this one first. Social anxiety, personally for me, is not something I grew up with, honestly speaking, which is why I'm kind of confused when I saw my test results because I was quite outgoing and more like the leader in my friend group. And then eventually, when I came to secondary school and even university, I started seeing myself consciously avoiding social situations or being anxious or overthinking my actions or what I'm meant to do in a social situation. And I realized that, okay, I might have anxiety, but I never really accepted it, in a way. I never really felt like I was an introvert. And it always felt like maybe the people in those situations were just not, they voluntarily did not want to have conversations with me because it became hard to the point that I had to plan certain things to say, like you are like automating or creating formulas around social situations where you start thinking that maybe you're even autistic to a certain point. So I feel social anxiety for me just came. I never grew up with it, honestly, and it still feels weird to this day because I still categorize myself as outgoing, but yeah, the test say otherwise. So I guess that's that.
On my own part, it's sort of different. I growing up, I was a very, very like contrary to what you people believe or what you see now. I was a very, very shy person. So growing up, I was like very, very shy. I would sit in a church service beside somebody and they'll be like, shake your neighbor. And this would be me bowing my head to pray because I don't want to look at anybody or even shake anybody. Like I was that socially awkward. I don't know. It just sort of transitioned to a point where I don't want to talk to people, but they want to talk to me. And then I have no other choice but to actually talk back to them. And I think that sort of just started building up a system where I started feeling comfortable talking to people. And then before you know it, I became what you people would regard as confident, I guess, if you still believe I am. Um, but I still believe to an extent I'm shy, but maybe it's just in my head.
Yeah, it's just in your head. I'm going to tell you that
Yeah,
because
definitely.
because if I draw a parallel between yourself and myself, I just think because sometimes I remember in school, back in school, I'm like. dude, this guy is
Mhm.
like, I was like,
The,
damn, like, can I get like
the
this guy?
social butterfly.
Yeah, exactly. And he was like this person that could make like you make conversation with both boys and girls, equally on like like a playing field, and it was easy for you,
Yeah.
or it appeared to be easy for you. And I
Would you
was,
people stop really me
No,
or
it's
it's
actually true because there were certain people that, not to be rude to anybody, like they didn't fit your caliber, or let me not say caliber, sorry, your type of personality, especially being
yeah,
an academic person. But you still flew with them, not in a weird way. Like you have conversation with guys that could not give two or less concerns over academic, and you will find a common ground. And you tell me
exactly,
you're not social. Come on, man.
exactly. Like you always found something to talk about
Yeah,
with anybody, and
yeah.
that was something I struggled with. And other than that, I don't think my issue was what to converse on. I think my issue was the willingness or even the power, because I don't have the power to. Because I feel like inside of me, I can't seem to conjure, the ability, the power to just move forward and try to be social. And people think I'm
mm-hmm.
being snobbish or proud, but I think the opposite is the case, however.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I think it's from you I discovered that, or I started believing in the concept of a social battery, because I felt it was a lousy excuse to not talk to people. But
Mm.
when we started talking, I could see life draining out of you when I kept asking questions. Like, you were literally like, leave me alone, bro. So I now understand, okay, there's some people that are actually like that.
Every time I thought this guy was a
Yeah.
psycho because he wouldn't shut up and was questioning and
Yeah.
interrogating me, and that was the first time we spoke. I
I
was
was
like, what?
intrigued.
And the thing is, I thought it was like gentle and quiet. So it was surprising to see him that way that day. I don't know. What was your first impression of each other, would you say, or any of us?
I think I'll go first again on that. Starting with David, my first impression, I mean, was speaking about personality. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, I characterize you as outgoing, very outgoing, not just outgoing. And then I felt, as I've said already, you had a grasp on social situations. You know how to manipulate social situations, not in a weird way, but you could be dropped with a crackhead, an academic, and a depressed person, and you know how to be friends with all of them. Like, it was something that people admired. Honestly, you always found something to talk about, and then yeah, just get the best out of the conversation. So it was really
Mm-hmm.
nice, honestly. And then you knew how to also withdraw yourself from certain situations, and your boundaries were easily understood. I think that's something that I personally failed to do when I was in school.
That you make
You
you
had
make a good point there. You make a
yeah,
good point
you
there.
just knew
Mm.
people just knew that okay, yeah,
This
we
was
laugh
where
with David,
this
but
was the limit they
this is
could go
where
with
David
you.
stopped. Exactly.
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 Yeah.
And you didn't necessarily have to say it every time because people never got to that point
Mm-hmm.
yet. So I'll give
Mm-hmm.
you that. For winner, now I have a lot to say, man. But let me just say, you are
Let's just
trying
let's
your
just
best.
move on. Let's
Try
just
your
move on, bro.
No, we want
best.
to hear it.
Yeah, I'll just say a few things. You eventually over the years became more social. You became. I felt like you started choosing the few people that you could actually engage with. You started reducing your tolerance. Sorry, increasing your tolerance. It's not like you voluntarily wanted to, but you're like, okay, I could go through the pain of listening to this person just because it's this person. And then a few of us became part of that, and that was basically it. Honestly, the rest of the people, you were just not ready to talk to them. But yeah, I guess that's that. Just to say a few.
I think for me personally, I think both of you had similar personalities, in my own
What?
opinion, Sha.
Wow. Wow.
Like,
Nah. Oh,
calm
yeah, I want
down.
to hear this. Go on.
What I think I observed basically from both of you was the fact that you were quiet, and me, I felt like at the point you guys, not even at a point, continuously, like you guys were like this calm, collected group of people or something like that. That was actually also intelligent and smart in class. So I always felt like you guys were composed. So I didn't like it's until we became friends that I know, oh, this is how you actually are. But I felt like you guys were just very reserved, calm, collected, composed set of people.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's fair. I think the first time I saw David, I was like, my first impression, because we're talking about first impression, and something
Mm-hmm.
about me when I see someone who like who comes off as like like this braggadocious, educated, intelligent person. In my mind, I'm like,
Oh, please.
who the hell do you think you are? That's
Oh,
what
please.
like that's always my first impression of people like that. I'm like, who do you think you are? Like, you just come in here and try to be the boss. And then I also saw that he was like social. I was like, come on, man, you can't be intelligent and
Like,
also
you
be
can't have
social.
best of both worlds.
Exactly. Like, and then and something I noticed, one of my first impression was also like how he's able to morph when he's talking to girls and when he's talking to boys.
Yeah,
Like he's able
like a
to,
chameleon.
yeah, he's able to like feminize his mannerisms, his words, the way he talks to them, the things he talks about when he's talking to girls, and when he's talking to guys, he just comes like this alpha boss guy, like yo, what's up? And I'm like, this guy's a chameleon, bro. I think one of my first impression of Kovan as well was also that because Kovan was able to morph, but not in the sense of conversation or social. Yeah, I think not in the sense of conversation, but socially, he was able to morph in the sense that it could become a friend group that he was in. Like the characteristic of a friend group that he was in, it would become
Mhm.
that. For example, when he's with us, like,
Well,
he puts on the scholarly persona and everything and tries to be gentle. But when he's with the other guys, it's like going crazy and going like, whoa, what's the party? That type of thing. And I think that
Yeah.
I was like, this guy is unstable. That's my first impression of him.
fair.
Yeah. So like let's talk about romance. Romance, obviously. I think it's a very big topic because when we're talking about romance,
Mm.
I think we rarely talk about romance amongst ourselves. It's almost like non-existent. And when we talk
Mhm.
about it,
Yeah.
it's so depressing. So like why do you think that
Or we take
is?
it for jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is based on our personality archetypes and stuff?
Well, me and David were actually talking about something similar a few days ago. And it was like, not to like gas us up or something, but academically we are sound. And I feel that in a way that influences the levels of or the kind of expectations we have for potential partners. I just feel in a way that we have, let me just use the word standard,
Mm,
Mhm.
that are
mm.
quite unattainable. Not unattainable, but in the situation where we find ourselves, especially when we're in school,
That sounds cocky as hell, though.
definitely.
That sounds
Yeah,
cocky as
that
hell.
exactly. I get. But not even that they had to be smart. Not even that. It's just generally. I don't personally. Let me speak for myself. Then it didn't just work out in the sense of nobody might have just fit the idea you had in your head.
Mm,
And even if
Mhm.
you did, it was for
mm,
a very short period of time. And no offense to them, it was most of the time, to be sincere, it was not even about academic because you're not trying to compete with anybody. It
mhm,
was not even about academic. It was just, I can't put it into words, but nothing really just clicked. And then at the same time, it was not something that you were actively trying to prosper in that area. Like it
mm,
was like, if it doesn't come, I'll probably find it somewhere else. I'm not fretting. I'm not actively pursuing. I guess that's
Yeah, it
that.
was secondary. Mhm.
mm, mhm.
Yeah.
I think mine was greatly influenced by past interaction.
Okay.
So I have come in contact with somebody that I would regard as my ideal type, and that person sort of sets a standard that, oh, the person has already like crossed or has achieved that standard already. So if there is anybody that can be similar to that,
Oh,
then
oh.
that would have been possible. But there was like when I tell you, like I legit sat down sometimes and I was like, the people in this school, like I'm not seeing, like I was wondering, like I'm not seeing anything that, like personally for me, there is a particular level of maybe sense of humor, similarities, interest that we should
Yeah,
have,
so that's it.
but
Mhm,
there is a way the girls, I don't want to just say the girls in the school, but there is a way the girls, some of the girls we interacted with or we knew where that were not in that level. Is
Bracket.
either maybe they were way too social, way too funny,
mhm,
or they were not interested in things that we were interested in. And so to find the perfect balance
mhm.
for both of you, it doesn't work out. So
Yeah.
I think that personally my own experience. And up to today, my past interaction, we still call ourselves soulmates till we see in the future. So
That's crazy.
I would say
That's
I'm
crazy.
That's
patient.
crazy. That's crazy.
That's insane, bro. Like you need to move on for real. Like that's going back to you. Like nah, that's crazy. Anyway, I think
Sorry, let me.
oh, go on, go on.
Yes, sorry. I wanted to add something. Another thing was personally for me, I felt that to aspire for love is to like short away a logical aspect of yourself, and I think
Mm,
personally that was what made me like get ahead of myself because I sincerely think looking back, there were times that with certain people that you may or may not know, you were. I could have thought like, okay, looking at everything, they might have reciprocated my feelings, but I just did not allow myself to be vulnerable enough.
mm-hmm,
Mm,
mm-hmm.
And that was a logical thing. Not that like emotionally, I was gone,
Yeah,
but my mind just kept holding me back.
holding
So
you
I
back.
guess,
Yeah,
I
that's
guess that's
fair.
the reason.
Yeah, I think what you said, just what you said last was is more related to what I think my issue is because analyzing myself and trying to look inwards to see some of the things. Obviously, there's this dissociating part where tend to
Mm-hmm.
dissociate, like when I see situations getting serious or I'm feeling like
mhm,
emotions towards something. However, there's another part of me that is
Yeah.
like the overthinking part. And I think I
Mm-hmm.
usually think for people. I usually think for the other person. And I like to think I'm
mm,
self-aware. And sometimes I look inwards and I say, am I the partner that this person need? I don't want to sound like the good boy or like, oh, considerate, but that's genuinely how I feel sometimes, because a girl can be
mm,
fun, can be exciting. And I'm just this guy who doesn't really know how to get excited, enough. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And
mhm,
to certain people, you feel like the girl may see it as like you do not like her, you do not love her. However, so I'm thinking within myself, I'm saying, would I be able to match her energy to make her happy? Because
mm,
to make someone who is always excited, to make them happy, you need to be excited.
exactly. Mhm,
So like I think those are some of the things that hold me back. Like I'm considering
Yeah.
them, I'm considering myself. I'm like, how can I cater to your emotional needs? Am I there yet? I think that's one of the major things that holds me back, to be honest.
I mean, at least I'll be honest. I would have not gone that honest with myself to be sincere.
Yeah. Okay. And also there's also the aspect of like, not just wanting it enough.
Yeah, you care, but not that much.
Yeah. Like I think I find I get strength from my loneliness. I don't know if that's a weird thing, but I think
That's a crazy thing to say, though.
yeah,
Yeah,
mm,
but that's my truth, to be honest. Like when I am in a social situation, like I feel like I'm dying and I go back to my room and it's like I'm literally recharging. I'm getting freshen up. Like it feels
mhm,
so good sometimes to be lonely. And I know it's a bad thing because you
Wow.
can't continue like that. You can't live like that forever.
Yeah.
And so, you think like that. You're like, bro, you literally get happy for being lonely. How would you be able to cater for a girl? She needs you to be there and you can't even be there. So like those are the things I think about. I think.
do you also think it comes from the fear of rejection?
Mm,
Because ultimately, even though you feel like, oh, you might not be there, but your mind will tell you, oh, even if I do push myself to ask her out, what if
Mm-hmm.
she says no?
fair.
And then that now kind of like wounds my self-esteem and stuff
That's
like
fair.
that.
That's fair. That's actually a fair question. I don't think I've actually thought about that. Kovan, have you like
Mm,
maybe thought about that?
I actually have, honestly, because not to brag, but I've probably faced the most rejections here, and you guys are aware, quite aware. But yeah, I think it goes two ways, honestly. There's the rejection of, yes, it will, as David said, it will affect your self-confidence and all that.
Mm,
And then there are other people that always want to, like, they see it as a bargain in something. And it's always like they want to have the ability to walk away. Like,
mm,
and I've seen that a lot with certain people.
mm,
Even my room that I don't want to mention his name on this podcast, but you guys know him. He's always that ability to like, okay, in this situation, in this friendship, I like this person, I like this friend, or I like this girl. No matter how attached I get, no matter how long we're together, I want to have the ability to walk away and be completely fine. And that's what makes them that even if eventually they have a love interest or they
mhm.
start dating someone,
mm,
they want to have the ability to cut off and be fine.
Like a release clause.
So yeah, exactly. Like they want to be able to
That's
cut
crazy.
off at any stage and not hurt themselves. And I think it hinders love because when they see the slightest thing that may shake the relationship, They are
Wait, wait.
already by the door.
Wait,
They are ready to leave.
let me even like David, have you
Yeah.
ever been in love?
I want to say yes and I want to say no.
Because listen, if you have, just tell us how it feels. Because I've been waiting for long and I'm getting tired.
Nah,
Like, how does that stuff feel? Because I was talking to my sister recently. So sorry, I was talking to my sister recently, and I was showing her a video of a girl who was always like talking to her boyfriend, constantly every day, like updating her about her life. I was like, bro, I don't think I'd find this like cute. And then
I
she
think
was
I saw
like,
that video.
love and sense, they don't mix. And I was like, fair, but I don't know how that is. Like, do you think that's the case?
Yeah, personally, I think that is the case. When you end up loving somebody, I think I had a conversation with somebody. It is more of like an obsession. You become obsessed with the person. So literally, you wake up in the morning, is the person you want to call. You want to reach out to the person. And then there are sometimes you even do this unconsciously, like the person just pops into your mind that you want to talk to this person. Anything good that happens to you, that the first person you want to tell. Anything bad that happens to you, they are the first person you want to tell because you want to receive a level of comfort from them.
Are you speaking
and
from
stuff like that.
experience? Are you speaking from experience?
I'm not speaking from experience. I'm speaking from observation.
How do you
Nah,
know so
that's
much?
crazy.
Bro, you can't speak from
Yeah,
observation, bro. Like, that's crazy.
exactly. There's only so much you can observe, man.
Exactly, bro. You just spoke like an old paragraph and you're talking about, bro, cut the crap, bro. Cut the crap. Tell us, who is she? Who is she?
I would say that's why I said I have and I have not. I would say like it was a brief moment of obsession that I felt towards her. And then at one point in time, we went our separate ways and it sort of became a sort of long distance friendship. And then it just slowly reduced into that friendship, basically. Yeah. So that's how I feel like love is, Sha.
Okay, now moving on. How do you think your personality type and the characteristics and the traits thereof, how do you think it affect your daily life? For example, for me now, I can be confrontational. I can be very straightforward. I'm very blunt, and I say things as I perceive or see them. Not obviously sometimes constructive, but other times I just say it as blunt as I can so that I get my message across. However, I'm not I'm not the most outgoing person. I'm not the most confident or bold person. So like in situations, for example, where like someone is like, maybe you go to a restaurant and you ask for a fork and they give you a spoon, I won't be able to call the waiter back and say, yo, you gave me a spoon, I asked for a fork. I wouldn't be able to challenge. And I think it makes people look down on me in a way. They think I am how do you call it? Let me use the Nigerian term, mumu. Like, yeah, like they think I'm like this dull person because like I can't they can push me around. Yeah, that's the best word.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes it's true, but other times I'm able to, try to get away or stand up for myself, but it's not effective because they know me in general that I'm not like that. What you don't put forward, people really wouldn't know you by that. But my sister, on the other hand, that's why I love going on with my sister. She can challenge anybody and she goes around and she's just effective in a social setting or even in a professional setting because of that attribute. So how do you think your personality affects are there ways, the positive and the negative?
Yeah, well, according to my personality type, some things they mentioned was the one that caught my eye actually was perspective, where they said, so basically what was that saying is that I'm good at improvising and adapting to opportunities. And the way I see that playing in my own personal life is that the family I live with now for this remainder of the youth service, like even when I'm at work or I'm at home and they give like instructions, I've noticed that I don't like or I'm not able to take instructions that clearly. There must always be an element of it that I want to do in my specific way. Like you could give me step by step with a time frame and everything, but I would just want to switch up things. And I even noticed it when I was in my school days, doing exams. I don't like taking the simplest route to something. It's something I just noticed, like it dawned on me sincerely, and then it affects especially my work ethic and certain things. I always like choosing the most complicated way to certain things. And also, as you said,
and your results are not usually good enough. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they're not good enough. And when they are good enough, it just amplifies that idea to keep just making things harder for myself. Like I have to constantly prove something to myself. Like I must always do something the other way. And then also about not being confrontational is something else I've also noticed. Like my people at home might be like, if you have an issue, complain. But I just feel like complain, like when my sister came, for example, sorry, my sister came and stayed for a couple of weeks, and whenever she had an issue, or she was the first to speak up on it and all those kind of things, and they'll be like, oh, am I facing the same issue? I'm like,
And you
yeah,
were
but I'm
just dying
fine.
in silence.
Yeah, and I'm so used to it to the point that it's not even a suffering to me. They feel like I'm suffering myself, but I'm just comfortable either addressing it myself or letting it ride out. It's going to the point that I've been like, things don't really get to me, not to sound cocky or anything, but everywhere could be burning in my mind, deadlines and all, so many things I have to do. But I've mastered being calm in the chaos, honestly, and it's not a good thing, but I don't know. That's just something I guess it's part of my personality. So it's just weird.
Me, on the other hand, I feel like my own personality and dating life is somehow. I believe like I'm the kind of person that perseveres, so I have a lot of patience. So I can be empathetic to your feelings. I can calm down and listen to you, and then probably give you back like a constructive criticism. But when it comes to confrontation and all those kind of things, if it's for my personal benefits, I tend to be very much reserved. Like you, like the whole situation of the restaurant bringing the fork and spoon, I probably wouldn't speak up as well. But
Okay.
if it happened to somebody that I love or I like, I would speak up for that person. That's
Okay.
like how crazy it is for me. I would stand up for the person, but for myself, I would just probably let it go. So I think that's basically how it is for me.
Also, like, how do you think your personality, so like professionally now, because each of us, every one of us here, even though we studied the same thing in school, we have like respective fields that we're passionate about. How do you think your personality, what part do you think your personality plays in that? And how is your personality a good support, or how does it support that dream or that aspiration or that, passion?
So yeah, based on the field of interest of my personality, although the aspect that it shows that I'm more introverted than normal may not be a good thing for the line of work that we're talking about. But I think the ability to be intuitive, which it shows, can be a good addition in terms of qualities for this kind of like career path, in the sense that most of the situations that are faced are not in international scenario. Most of the situations that are faced, they are not straightforward answers or straightforward policies that the leader may imply or whatsoever. So I guess thinking outside the box and not always using direct routes is a good way. And also the idea of prospecting or the idea of being assertive, which personally I don't feel like I'm quite assertive because I always second guess a lot of things. But I mean, that's how the stats are saying. But being assertive to helps to like put your foot down in a decision in an office or in any place you find yourself. So I would say generally, yeah, most of the things that show for my personality will help, but there are also a lot of things on the other side. Like the majority of things will help, but the minority of things that are not quite good are also like it's a 50-50. That's what I would say.
So what is your passion? Like what is the thing that is your passion? Like, is there a specific thing you're passionate about?
The specific thing I'm passionate about, sincerely, it's global economics, like basically like the economic system of the world, like political economy, basically.
Do you think it aligns with
Like
your
how
personality, like your personality type and stuff?
sincerely, not really, honestly, because I tend to be more introverted than most. And for that kind of career path, you are dealing with different cultures, so you should be able to blend with other cultures, and that just speaks to being an extrovert, you understand? But being intuitive and most of the other things on the board would help. So I guess that's something I'll have to work on.
What about you, David?
So my own passion or career path is a line of teaching, and
Wow.
it's I think it's my personality would speak loudly in that particular field, because there is like different ways you have to interact with students. Not everybody has like the level of understanding or reasoning that everybody has, and so there are times where you have to like be open to doing certain things, explaining certain things certain way, or welcoming ideas, weird, strange ideas from people, or solutions from people and everything. And also, I think in line with being a professor, it just like boils down to trying to solve a certain challenge that is ongoing anywhere and everywhere, which I believe at the end of the day is like the lecturer's job at the end of the day. All of you are heading towards solving a particular issue and all. And so I'm just like the kind of person that is like, I would say charismatic, that is open to ideas, and then the ability to like mentor people. And I think the fact that you guys were able to see the fact that I was able to like you said, morph into different personality or characteristics by talking to different people shows like it's helping my career or something like that. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. So I think for me personally, what like I'm more passionate about, number one is media, mass media. I just enjoy communications. And which is weird because I'm not someone that really enjoys talking at large, but I enjoy communication. What I enjoy mostly is the power of it, how influential it is, and how it can move people, influence people the way they do things. And I think it's just so powerful that you can, through communication. I think one of the things that intrigue me is the learning of people's languages, how you can just learn another person's language and become, in a way, a part of them. And when you speak to someone who doesn't expect you to know his language and you speak their language, it's so fascinating to me. I don't know why, but it is. And another thing I'm passionate about is global security. Global security. I'm just passionate about safety. I don't know why that is, and I don't know how it ties into my personality, but I'm passionate. I'm passionate about it, and as a matter of fact, when I was younger, I usually dream of like becoming like an FBI agent or something. That's how passionate I am of security, because I just don't like people being unsafe. I don't want to sound like I'm trying to make myself the good guy here, but that's actually the truth. So I think we've had enough of talking about ourselves. Now let's talk about like a general principle, especially when it comes to personality. So that will lead us to our social media segment. And we're gonna discuss on this. And thanks to David, David found something so pressing that is so interesting to talk about. And someone on Twitter said, "We are culturally conditioned to not be ourselves when dating. We play hard to get and give rules around how many dates we need to have before we do specific things. It's all about luring someone in, not emotional intimacy and being your unique self. It's why dysfunctional relationships are the cultural norm." What do you think about that?
So I think it's boiled down to the whole standard thing where you, like we said, when you're dating somebody, your mindset is that you are insane, like you're not normal, you're not sane normally, and all because, like I said, obsession and everything and all those kind of things. But me, I also feel like it's also creating a standard for yourself, like a standard where probably you feel safe, or you feel like you should be more experienced or something like that to meet your soulmate or something like that. Me personally, I feel like from the tweets, it feels like, that kind of thing when they like say, "Oh, how do you want to get married?" when you don't have like knowledge of certain things, like you've not tried out things out. Like, how will you know that the person is the one for you? So you're supposed to like try out certain things, experience dating, experience sexual contacts and stuff like that, so that you can be more experienced to meet your soulmate. And this sort of just create a lot of thoughts and thinking that would just scatter what should have been a good, perfect relationship, because you're keeping all these rules and regulations that you must have to be able to like have that solid relationship or something.
Yeah, I think there's that aspect, but I think another aspect goes back to what I was saying earlier, as how I try to look at myself and consider how I would be in a relationship with this person I'm looking at that seems so interesting to me. And I think, yeah, she's talking about the fact that a lot of people they put this standard around themselves that they don't actually believe in order to appear a certain way to the person they're trying to lure in. For example, now, given the example I gave earlier about me looking at this person and saying, am I bubbly, or can I be excited enough for her? Right? And then I look at her and I'm like, okay, can I really be excited for this person? And then I start pretending like I am this, extroverted, excited person, and I say
Yeah.
one, one thing I love is when a girl is so bubbly and excited, I'm being something I'm not. And I think that's one of the things that the it's like a craving for affection. And when someone seems interesting to you, instead of you being yourself, I don't think it's healthy or it's even right for you to be in a relationship where you can actually be yourself. I don't think that makes sense. But a lot of people are not themselves. And that's why after a while, when they've become comfortable and their real personality begins to shine through, the other partner can't process it and is like, yo, this is not the person I got in a relationship with. I think that's what this person is talking about in this by this tweet.
Yeah, well, personally, I think as already established, people try to hide certain aspects of their personalities in an attempt to blend with their significant other. And the thing is that they are advised to do this by society. Although it makes sense to try and alter certain aspects of your personality in the sense of changing certain things that may not be moral or does not align with the person or sacrificing a part of yourself, which I tend to agree with. But the truth is that most people just mask certain things
Mm-hmm.
in the moment, like, okay, yeah, I don't like this thing you're doing, but I will tolerate it. Like, how long can you tolerate it?
Yeah.
That's the
Mm-hmm.
simple thing. They tend to like do activities that they are not. For me, I think those are like minor things, like activities or certain things, because eventually you grow to love those things in a weird way. Because if you truly love the person you love, just love whatever makes them happy. But eventually, when they get into those relationships, they realize that okay, I am not actually changing. I
Mm-hmm.
was just tolerating this thing or
You accept it
trying to
because
be
of
this kind of person.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And eventually, when you live long enough, some things have to be shed down, and then
Yeah.
you really see yourself really the way you are. And then
Mm-hmm.
nobody's ready to accept either person, and then it's back to square one. So, yeah.
That's why I don't actually believe in the saying that says opposites attract, because opposites attracting is just it's just I doesn't seem right. Because for example, if someone is goofy and likes to play and is adventurous, and then your partner is just this slow person that doesn't want to do anything and it's just not fun, it's not funny. When you're being goofy, it's going to be cringe to him. And when he's being like
Mm-hmm.
mild, you're just gonna be
Mm,
looking at him like a dullard, and you're gonna be pretending because you think you're in love. I don't think if you're not comfortable, if you're not being yourself, if you can't be yourself, I don't think you should be in it.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It just involves a lot of that kind of relationship would just be like involving a lot of tactics and plan and
And
oh we
pretense.
have to inform
Yeah.
exactly pretense
Yeah,
over like
Mm-hmm.
genuine connections and stuff
exactly.
that you're supposed to be building.
Like
Mm.
the girl will say, I love reading books, and all of a sudden you start picking up books. Like you never read a book in your life, you know?
Exactly. It
Stuff like
happens to
that.
guys a lot.
It happens to
Or
guys.
you join the book club because of her, and then you
Yeah,
just go
Mm-hmm.
to read
and you're
summary so that
bored.
you can say you've done something.
And she will not think it's like a love language between you guys,
Yeah.
and you are dying inside.
Obviously, there's the aspect of love language where you try to pick up an interest in something your partner adores that you don't enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
There's that aspect, but there's also the part of pretending to like something. If you don't like something, don't pretend to like it. And it goes like, let me tell you a
Mm-hmm.
personal story. Something happened to me. Like, there's this girl we're talking, and this girl is special because she's like so intelligent. But other than that, we had no similarities per se. And but she'd be like, my ideal guy is this. Before you know it, I'm interested in that thing. I'm like, my ideal guy likes to do this. Before you know it, and most of the time it's subconscious. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
even know that I'm, becoming this person she's telling me every day that she wants to be with. And I'm just deceiving myself, trying to be this person. And I'm like, bro, one day I just saw myself doing something she said she liked a guy doing that I don't used to do before. I was like, bro, are you going mad? What are you doing?
That's love, is obsession.
Bro, cut the crap. Don't piss me off. So I was like, bro, like you must have lost your mind, and I snapped out of it that day. So yeah, let's go on to the second tweet. Second tweet. Now, this is talking about majorly on personality. Now, you can meet someone that has a great personality. That's what the tweet says. You can meet someone that has a great personality, and when you date or marry them, they will be horrible partners. It's values that makes a great partner, not personality. Values even smoothing the edges of personality over time. Focus your sense on their values. Don't it doesn't fail. Wait, it so this person is basically saying values are better is better than personality, and that value can even smoothen the edges of personalities over time. And now, based on some of the things we just said, right? How do you think, or what do you think about this?
Yeah, I definitely completely agree with it, honestly, because I think, for example, taking for example this university scene or the school scene whereby you can see this girl that is dating, for example, this guy that is very popular, and then she's envied on by other girls and all that, and people think she's genuinely living the best life, but he might be outgoing with everybody, but he's very rude to her and very controlling and everything. He might have a
Mm,
good personality and all that, but he might just be treating her very wrongly. But if he had morals, he'll be able to detect, or maybe when he's wrong, he might apologize to her and all those kind of things.
mm,
But when he already has that external value from people, knowing that, and also the availability of everybody wanting to be with him, and that if he does not have those values to be able to be like, okay, I have to, she's not like everybody else. When I offend her, I can't just put up a smile and crack a joke like everybody and then walk away because my charisma, and whatever, will do best for me.
mm.
So yeah, it definitely is a fact. I agree with it.
Okay.
Yeah,
David.
me personally, I also agree with the whole thing. I feel like value in the long run actually help shapes your personality.
Mm,
So you could be likable, you could be charming, but in all your charming and likableness, you are dishonest, you are not committed, you are disrespectful and stuff like that.
mm,
So we see you as, oh, you relate very much with everybody, you are very sociable. But when it
Yeah.
comes to you're dating somebody now, you are disrespectful in the relationship, you are not even supportive, you're
Mm-hmm.
you're manipulative in a way, let's say.
mm,
And so the personality is actually key for you to be able to like understand somebody, or for you to actually experience somebody's personality. Your value
mm.
has to like help you help you understand the person basically. Once you have
Yeah.
good values, then your personality shifts or adjusts.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've all seen that kind of a thing, sir. I mean, in uni, that kind of a thing where someone is bubbly and happy, but then in that kind of making fun and making everybody laugh, they say some things
Mm-hmm.
that are rude, and then they never come back to apologize because they can just crack a joke again and it will be fine and all that. So yeah.
That's true. I think majorly what I got from this tweet is personality will draw you in, but values will keep you in it.
Thank you. Mm,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
exactly.
Yeah. So I think that's the main idea because and also like when it comes to the where he says values even smoothings the edges of personality, some inadequacies, values will help you, you know, smooth over them. For example, when you're talking about values, you're talking about patience, tolerance, um,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that that will help you manage even when it's uncomfortable sometimes. And
Yeah.
the marriages that last, because a lot of people, a little discomfort, they think the person no longer loves them and they're out. It's because they do not have certain values that allows them to stay in it and try to see a
Mhm.
way around to smoothing those edges out. So yeah, I think I think we all hit the nail on the head there. And
Yeah.
these are actually great points. And that's why I like Twitter because Twitter, other than the deranged and by Godhead and hateful parts of Twitter,
Very
there's
well.
the there's the actual thinking part of Twitter. So this is a great
Twitter,
tweet.
yeah. I have a question. Like, it just popped into my head, and I think I just want to hear our all of us point of view.
Okay.
Can
Okay.
Yeah, so based on like our personality, what do you think about um people that use pet names in public, like to refer to their relationship partner or their spouses?
It
Like
depends.
just going around saying my darling, my honey, my love, like
It depends. It depends.
I have no issue with it, honestly.
would you do it?
Me?
Definitely not.
I think babe is cute. Or ma.
What?
Because
Oh,
Or like ma. Like
oh.
did you say ma?
yeah, I think he's cute to be honest. I just be
Oh
like,
no,
yeah, babe,
it's not.
ma. But like when you start saying oni, like baby, I mean, like all this, like you're stretching it like cutie pie and all this stuff. Peach, my
I
peach or
actually
something.
think there's nothing wrong with it, but yeah, it feels somehow maybe to others, but I feel like
Yeah.
it's what they call themselves at home. So it's a difficult switch to turn off when you're outside.
For me, my dad gave my mom a different name, like as a pet name, like a different name.
I think my dad refers to my mom as my mom, like, but he says it's in Ibibio,
like his mom.
Okay.
like not like his mom, like my mother. You know how like you because they take care of you, like his wife takes care of
So it's,
her
it's like
and all that
mommy,
stuff. Oh, stop it, Rex! Not that how weird.
mommy.
It's nah,
That
that's so wrong.
that's
But
that's
I don't
actually
know if you
cute.
get it. It's a typical thing I think in like traditional homes
Okay,
where
okay.
you're like you call people is I think a sign of respect or like the fact that they take care of you, they watch over you,
Mm,
basically like how the mother would
yeah, like nurturing.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
So
dad
it
calls
just
my
like
mom. My dad
shows.
calls my mom precious. That's what he calls her. And I'm like,
Oh, okay.
he's like, that's chill. That's chill. Not some baby honey stuff around me, bro. Before I get angry.
Why I actually asked this was because I was working with a friend and out of nowhere, I have never heard them speak pet names to themselves. Out of nowhere, he just called her babe.
Bro, what? Don't tell me it's Ola and Kura, bro. I'm gonna cast them on here. It's Ola and Kura, I'm sure. Those guys have no shame. Yeah.
Yes, but I guess me personally, I think it's cringe for me. I don't think I would
No, I think it's
possibly
because
say
they
that.
know
I'll
them,
probably
sha.
just
Rather than
we just be
funny.
on first name basis, I guess.
Nah, that's crazy. That's
No,
crazy.
that's crazy.
First name
Then
basis with your bae
maybe
is
Child also
nuts.
works on.
inside the house, but like inside the house, of course, you would use those words, but like
You,
out
you,
in public
you
and
have to understand that it's not something that it's a difficult switch to turn off. Like
That's
because it's the
actually
same person.
more
You're not
going
going
on.
to be that mindful to say it a different way outside.
Actually, like even though it's not default, like bro, what's wrong with you, David? Like I actually think it would be you that would be interested in that type of thing.
Yeah.
Because for me, I think I'm comfortable with calling someone babe. In fact, I'm willing, I'm ready, I'm waiting.
it's don't make it too desperate. But okay.
Obviously,
Exactly.
obviously, I'm kidding, but like I think it's cute to say babe. I don't know, it's cute. I want to be called babe at one point in my life.
Calm down, bro.
Anyway, I think we've come to the end of our podcast, and we're happy that it came to a natural end. And I think
Yep,
we've
yep,
had a
yep.
beautiful discussion, and hopefully you would be able to enjoy listening to us talk about ourselves for most of the minutes, and eventually, talking about other things. But I think we had a great time, and we hope that you, our listeners, also have a great time. Thank you for tuning in. We remain the We We Podcast, guys, and it's Covan, David, and Rex. Till next time.